Unexpected Journey, Memoir of a Siberian Deportee by Juzė Avižienytė-Žukauskiene. Translated from Lithuanian and narrated by Giedrė Kumpikas, niece of the author, and by Isabelle Kumpikas, the sister of the author. Chapter 52. Michailovna. Both Ludai, father and son, were still working in the manufacturing enterprise in the center of the region. In the mill, both the wool and the work would end in the spring, so the workers were assigned to other jobs. There were no days of rest. Sometimes, having asked to do some laundry, they would come home to Melstrøy. They would bring home bread they had saved. I would pull out from under the bushes 1 or 2 tiny potatoes, and I would cook a delicious soup with some flour beaten in. On such an occasion, I would beg for and get a liter of milk. Michailovna, who had received us with great hostility when we moved there, was not antagonistic any longer. She saw that, contrary to what she had expected from hungry people, we were not thieves, not vengeful or mean. In response to her intrigues, we not only had not sought revenge, but we had often even helped. Our men would fix a fence for her, or chop some wood, or carry a heavier sack. Good boys, she would say, and for the work she would give them some potatoes or a liter of milk. She was considered rich because she had a cow and a well-cultivated garden, but she was unhappy. Her family was scattered, her husband in jail, her oldest son in faraway mines, her daughter married in a faraway place to an alcoholic husband who was in the army. She struggled alone on a collective farm and was raising a brood of children. Michailovna could not forget the 3 children whom she had buried in the swamps of the taiga, shortly after her family had been forcibly driven there from the Altai region. She constantly talked to me about her loss and cried and cried. At the time, she only had her youngest, a 10-year-old son, Kolya, by her. There were many of these lonely women with children. All of the husbands were at the front. One morning around 4 o'clock, a very terrified Michailovna came running over and started banging on our door. We all jumped. "What happened, Michailovna?" Oh, help me. The cow is bloated. Oh, what a calamity. What will happen?" she wailed, wringing her hands. We jumped up from our plank beds and hurried to give assistance. When we arrived, we already found a neighboring forester pressing the cow's belly with his knees. I remembered in my childhood that when cattle had eaten bedewed fresh clover and became bloated, my father would forcibly make the animal drink a bottle of strong salt solution and bridle it with a piece of rope, pushing the knot deep in the throat. The animal would begin salivating, coughing, heaving, wanting to spit out the obstacle. The gas was expelled, and everything ended well. I dictated my method immediately. Fortunately, there were 2 men, Stasiukas and the forester. They tied together a bridle from hay and shoved it into the throat of the cow. The cow began to heave and cough. It started to toss about, tried to stand up. The men pulled her up. She jumped to her feet, and everything ended well. "Michailovna, drive her about. Don't let her lie down until she drops her dung," the doctors advised. Michailovna, her hands shaking, grabbed a switch and started chasing the cow around the garden. To lose her cow would have been a great tragedy. She was striking the cow on her sides while crying aloud and praying, "Svetaya Bogorodica, и все святые помогите, отгоните эту тушу. O Holy Mother of God and all the saints, help to take away this threat." Michailovna pronounced the word tuchu in the regional dialect as tushu, which means slaughtered meat. The forester began to laugh. "Michailovna, drive her about before she truly becomes slaughtered meat." We saw that the danger was past and started to laugh at this double meaning as well, but Michailovna was far from laughter. That saying, however, stayed with us for a long time. As soon as something not too tragic took place, we would advise those involved mockingly, "Odgoni etu tushu." The cow recovered, and Michailovna, out of gratitude, brought over a whole earthenware pot of milk. From that time on, she remained very friendly. She told everyone, if it weren't for Natasha, that's what she called me, I wouldn't have my Buranushka.